So today on the Sticker channel, we're going to talk about a controversial subject, and it is the C.J. Alexander buck, the Ohio buck that was taken this past season. There's so much controversy surrounding this deer right now. I watched a few podcasts and where he was actually interviewed and talked about how he took this deer. And if you're not familiar with the case, sounds as though Mr. Alexander has shot a very large buck that may be some type of world record or some kind of Ohio record or something. And the issue starts where he is a guy, it sounds like he's down on his luck, and he had enough money to scrape together to buy his own crossbow, and with the intentions of him and his girlfriend using it, or his baby mama, whatever she is. And at some point this bow blows up or the string comes apart or something, and he's out of a bow, so he has to borrow a friend's crossbow and go out to hunt. Now, he goes out and he says he has no background with this deer, has never seen it, doesn't have any trail pictures, camera pictures of it or anything, and goes out on a whim on this piece of property that his father tells him to go to. He says his father used to hunt this piece of property years ago, and it was a good place to hunt, and maybe he should try it. Now, the piece of property he claims is his sister's property, which she just obtained a house there or something. I believe it was 30-acre piece of property, and supposedly had written permission from his sister to be able to hunt this piece. So he borrows a crossbow and he borrows a tree stand off of one of his buddies. Goes out, climbs a tree, not seeing much. A doe and a button buck come through or something, and then this monster shows up, and he proceeds to shoot this monster buck with his buddy's crossbow. And he claims that it was somewhere around, probably around 4:30 in the evening before dark. And he claims that he forgot his phone that night. When he went in, I guess the girlfriend dropped him off and he walked in. And so he proceeds to shoot this buck, and I guess he shoots it near the rear quarter, the rear leg of the deer. Very bad shot. And he at some point gets down and heads out to meet the girlfriend at the car or something, and tells her that he shot this big deer. Now, this is where the story starts getting all fuzzy. We don't know what transpired, what happens, whatever. But he claims he backs out, he goes home for the night, and he's on different medications and things, and he slept in late the next morning or something, and then he calls his buddy that he borrowed the bow and the stand from, and they go out the next day, and they find the deer and retrieve it, whatnot. I guess still doesn't have his phone. I don't know, because all the pictures that were taken of the deer were at night. I don't know about you, but if I shot a big monster, I would have my phone or a camera with me, and I'd be snapping pictures like crazy and sending them to everybody I knew. But that did not happen. He claims that he did not have a good camera or a good phone or whatever, and he was waiting for the girlfriend to show up with a camera. She had a very good camera and was going to take pictures, but he claims that he found the deer the next day after he shot it around between 11 and noon time. And then the pictures didn't show up till it was in the dark. So I guess there was pictures of him with the buck. There was pictures with him and the buddy that he borrowed the equipment with a third fella in the picture. Don't know who he is at this point. I'm sure that'll come out at some point. So multiple nighttime pictures. I guess there was pictures of the deer hanging, and different things. This is all hearsay, all speculation. I do not know this fella at all. I just watched a bunch of podcasts and interviews with him, and I'm trying to recount his story a little bit just to fill you in. So anyhow, as the story goes, 5 days after he shoots this deer, the Ohio DNR shows up and wants to. I guess they text his mother and said, "Hey, we hear your boy shot this buck. Can you put us in contact with him?" And I guess they get in contact with CJ, and CJ has him come out, invites him out, and they come to investigate. And he takes him out to the property, shows him the tree he climbed and where he shot the deer, where it was standing, and where it ended up, where they found it over in this patch next to him, up against this. It doesn't even matter, but it was up against this mound of debris or something anyhow. So that was the day, 5 days after he shot it or something like that. Well, it comes, he's in the limelight. All these magazines are approaching him, wanting a story and wanting to sell his story, wants to put him on the magazine covers and things. And he had a guy named Rex, I think his name's Mike Rex from Ohio, some bigwig, knows how to measure the deer, high profile guy, and he handles things like that. And he says that it's going to be this new world record if it's scored this particular way. If not, it's still going to be a very, like, number three buck in the state or whatever if they score it this way, depending on how the rolls are or whatever. Anyhow, long story short is, I've heard that the Ohio DNR steps in and he's now under investigation. They've taken the rack and the hide and everything and the hunting tools, the bow and the stand and his equipment and whatever. They've confiscated it all, and now he's under investigation. And now it's come out that a high-profile district attorney from 20 miles away from where he says he shot this deer claims that this guy had to come on his property and shoot that buck. So whether this is a jealousy tactic that someone's mad that this guy CJ Alexander shot a buck that they were after, whether he snuck on someone else's property and shot this deer, or what. We're not sure what the deal is. Now, they've come forth now and are claiming that they had the smoking gun. They called him up and said, "Hey, we found your knives." Didn't say where, and he's claiming his innocence and said to prove it, So he's sticking to his story, and he says that everything's legit. Shot that on his sister's property. He had written permission. The Ohio DNR is saying he did not have written permission. So I'm sure in time all this will come out. So I guess I don't even know why I'm making this video. I'm just being informative. And I don't know, I'm not necessarily stirring the pot, but I guess what I'm getting at is anytime anybody shoots something huge, they come under such scrutiny. I've got a local guy here at my home, and he shot a deer this year with the bow. Same situation, shot it like 52 yards, hit it in the rear ham, had to call in the dogs, and they found it. And now, supposedly, there's an investigation going on there because the adjoining property owner is blaming him of being across the line and wants to have everything confiscated off of him and sue him and all this jazz. And, the industry, everybody creates such a black eye on the industry, hunter to hunter, because of jealousies and things. And I'll tell you what my hope is. I hope that he's exonerated and it was legit, and I hope he legitimately went out there blind, didn't have any, first time luck. I'm hoping that's what's going to come out of this. I mean, I'm pulling for the guy. I really am. I want it to be that the dude went out there, didn't know it was going to happen, and just went out there, had the night of his life, and shot this monster. And I hope he's the new record holder, and I hope he's exonerated. I hope he gets all his equipment back, and I just think it would be so cool, if everything's legit. But with everybody that's involved, this high-profile DA, it's 20 miles away. It says he has trail cam pictures of this deer on his property. There has to be a smoking gun here somewhere. They've got to come up with some concrete evidence. I'm sure they're building a case and finding clues or whatever. But we have heard nothing about, are these his knives? We've heard nothing about, did this DA have any evidence of this guy being on his property? Like through surveillance, footprints, tire tracks, drag marks, fur, blood, guts, anything. Can they produce anything on this guy to prove that he did something wrong? So far, they have not, that we know of, anyhow. I mean, through time, all this is going to come out. If he did something wrong, someone knows something. Someone had to see him through surveillance, I mean, how would you go about getting on someone's piece of property without them knowing and be up in a tree? How stupid would that be? I mean, because if someone seen you, they would come underneath you and you're stuck up a tree. You can't even run and hide or get away. I mean, so that wouldn't be real bright on CJ's part. So, I mean, if I was going to go do something wrong, I think I would be on my feet. I wouldn't want to be up in a tree stand and be stuck up there, just waiting for someone to come acknowledge that I'm there, I'm kind of doubting the knife scenario. I mean, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I kind of doubt the knife scenario. Like, that might be a ploy from like a bluff. Because if you was to do something illegal, would you leave all that evidence behind? Would you gut a deer and have all that blood and everything and leave all that behind so that someone could find you out? I'm doubting that. And as big as this deer was, how did they get it out of there? If he was truly on someone else's property, how would they get this deer out of that area? Sorry, my furnace is kicking on. But, a deer of that magnitude would be so heavy. So first of all, I'm thinking, I'm not gutting the thing. We're going to carry this thing out so there's no evidence left behind. No drag marks or nothing. And have to get it to a road somewhere, pick it up in a truck or something and get it out of there. So I'm doubting all this stuff. But, I mean, I'm pulling for the guy. I hope he did it legit, and I hope he didn't do anything illegal. But they're going to have to prove all this stuff to make this guy guilty. And so far they haven't. So what do you think about this, Buck? I mean, how do you make a judgment call on this guy? Nobody knows who he is. I mean, they would have to prove that Buck was, if this guy has trail camera pictures from 20 miles away, at what time frame? Was it a week ago? Was it 2 weeks ago? Was it during the summer? I mean, a deer travels. I mean, now, like, if it was the night before or something, he had a picture before it was killed, yeah, that's different. But, I mean, deer are known to travel very far. So, I mean, that deer could have been 20 miles away during the summertime over a good food plot or something, a food source. And during the rut is when he killed it. That deer could have been running deer for days and weeks, you know, going into a different territory. It's been known to happen. So I'd love to hear your comments on this. Don't take my word for it. Go out there and search around. CJ was interviewed on the Hunter podcast. There was numerous other reels and things made about this story. I urge you to go out and look at some of this stuff. And man, I'd like to hear if anybody knows anything about it. Somebody knows something. Somebody knows this kid. Somebody knows the guy he borrowed the equipment from. Somebody knows this district attorney that's accusing him of wrongdoing. The truth will come out at some point. It's just going to take some time to get there. But comment below what you've been hearing, what you've seen, what you've heard. But try to come up with some concrete evidence too. I mean, all this hearsay stuff. I mean, we shouldn't be stirring the pot on each other out of jealousy. Because like I said, I'm pulling for the dude. I hope it's legit. I hope he shot the new Ohio record. I mean, he seemed like a nice kid. Seemed like he was a little bit down on his luck. And man, if he's convicted, he's going to lose everything he's got. He don't have much as it is. He's got a bunch of little kids in the house with him. And they're talking. In Ohio, there's some kind of fine for over 120-inch or 125-inch buck that they can fine you so much more money if it's over that in inches. And last I heard, it was like over $30,000 worth of fines for what he did if it's illegal. And he's already saying that he wasn't working and down on his luck and things, and he's not going to be able to afford any of that. So I'm rooting for the kid. What do you think? Drop some comments below, and try to keep it positive. And let's not bash other hunters if we can help it. Catch you in the next video.